Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, brought to you proudly by Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Barton Power Sports, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Best Care Home Services.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray as we roll along here on this Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, which means on the first Saturday of the month, we bring in Dave Gabbert.
Bring in the experts.
Bring in the man who's retired from the Wildlife Agency to spend his days traveling across the world, and just back from Washington, D.C. You didn't do any good there, it doesn't sound like. 5-day trip to Washington. I didn't see you on the news.
Well, you kind of stay behind the scenes.
Oh, I kept watching Jeff Glover to see if you showed up on CBS, but
that's that's the one good thing about the first weekend in November.
Yeah,
we only got a couple of more days to Election Day.
Oh, let's and vote, folks.
Yeah.
Be
but
sure
then, if you're
all right
after the Election Day to get your rifle sighted in for deer season, you got all kinds of target stands setting in people's yards.
Oh, there's enough of those. And, of course, we also jumping in today with us, and we appreciate him in his normal time, if normal is right, is
another normal
Saturday,
about us.
Fourth Saturday, and he was out of town. In fact, he's been out of town for most of this year. So
I was not home an entire month all October.
An
entire week in October.
But you're getting ready to start getting back to a little bit.
Well, duck season's coming. I'm going to brush blinds here in about an hour, and
we've already done that.
That's Bill Cooksey sitting in with us, and we got a guest on right now, our good friend Karen Lutto, who has been helped Outdoors with Larry Ray for many years with Hunter Outdoor Communications. She's helped us get guests a lot of times, and so we're gonna switch right now. We were just up in Minnesota. This show goes, whoa, man, we travel
border to border,
to border. We're going from Minnesota to Batesville, Texas, to talk about Trinity Oaks, and also talk about Trinity Oaks, about the Thumbtack Ranch, which has recently been nominated as the nation's first Purple Heart Ranch. That's right, folks, and so. We're privileged to have on Outdoors with Larry Ray, Brittany Longoria. Good morning, Brittany.
Yeah. Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing great. And let's talk a little bit about Trinity Oaks itself before we get into the ranch, because it's pretty cool. Tell our listeners out there the purpose and how it got organized, and a little bit about the organization.
Absolutely. Trinity Oaks is actually based in San Antonio, Texas, but we work throughout the state as well as other southern states. Right now, we're serving over 700 veterans per year, over 1,500 youth, terminally ill, disabled, and special needs kids and their families. We have special programs for caregivers of wounded veterans, as well as processing and distributing over 100,000 pounds of meat, which equates to over 500,000 meals served throughout Texas.
How about that, guys? I mean, this is founded in 2007 by Tom Snyder. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that reaches out to a lot of folks. And tell us why Tom did this. What about was this his idea, and how did it develop?
Basically, Tom found that through business relations, that when he would take someone outdoors hunting, fishing, or just sitting around a campfire, the connection that he could make with that individual was so powerful and more powerful than any other type of theater or platform.
Yeah.
And he felt that if he could create these opportunities to touch children's lives through hunting and fishing, that it would truly make a difference in the world. And that developed as taking a couple kids out hunting and fishing and giving them the equipment and gear that they could continue on doing it themselves, either with their parents or with a mentor. And then someone said, well, what about veterans?
Yeah.
So then it expanded into veterans, and then it expanded into the caregivers, and then it expanded into what we call Star Kids, who are the children of fallen veterans or first responders.
Wow.
And so it just kind of blossomed and evolved into the way that the outdoors can impact so many people that are affected with either illness or difficulties or stressors that are not copable through normal therapy or everyday types of practices or medications.
Wow, and then it says each year Trinity Oaks offers at least 50 events at no expense to those who can benefit from a once-in-a-lifetime hunting or fishing experience. That's amazing in itself. In this day of me, we get us.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
It's all volunteer-based, and that's the biggest thing, is that through donations and volunteers' time and talent, we're able to produce some amazing world-class events for all these different demographics.
And let's go to the Thumbtack Ranch, first ranch in the United States to be designated as a Purple Heart Ranch by the National Military Order of the Purple Heart. That recognition is going to happen on the 9th, if I'm not mistaken, in Georgetown, Texas. So talk about being a Purple Heart Ranch. That gives me goosebumps just to say that. Talk about that, Brittany.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, it just illustrates our philosophy that we can never do enough to give back to the people who fought for our freedoms.
Yeah.
And this is an opportunity that Trinity Oaks was given to partner with the National Military Order of the Purple Heart in order to ensure that we have a place that folks can go forever.
Wow.
And this becomes a resource and an asset to military families throughout the country. And it's currently right now, it's one of our biggest fundraising campaigns is to finalize the purchase of the property. We have about $3.4 million left on the note. So we've purchased it. Excuse me, I misspoke. We've purchased it, but we have $3.4 million left to raise on that property.
And that's a fundraising effort. And I know, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow is the second annual, and that being Sunday, the second annual Central Texas Field of Honor is going to be set up in Georgetown, Texas. And this year's field is dedicated to the men and women who have received the Purple Heart. This hits close to home to me. My late uncle, who taught me everything there was about hunting and fishing, I did not know until he was almost 80 did he ever talk about World War II and tell us that he won a Purple Heart at Normandy.
Wow.
And I was able to, my son actually got to take that to his school one day and got so carried away that he kept it 2 days. And I was getting worried about that. But this is an honor. I mean, this is really something that sticks out. What's the reaction to this for you folks?
Oh, it's just an incredible amount of enthusiastic support. One of the things that Trinity Oaks does is that we will bring in mixed groups of different generations of Purple Heart veterans. So the young guys that are coming back or have already come back, that they have the opportunity to hear those stories. But then also, just as you said, that the older generations didn't really talk about it, that this wasn't something that was normalized.
Yes.
And it's amazing to see how these different generations can relate to each other and inspire each other, and vice versa, kind of play off of each other and have a conversation and be like, you know what? It is okay. Look at this guy. He had a family, a career, a whole life, and it gives them the inspiration. So it's amazing to have the ability to work, like I said, with all these different generations, all these different military branches, and be able truly to just come together and, like I said, sit around a campfire.
Amazing.
And just open up.
Oh, I'd like to sit around one of those campfires. Would you not like, and particularly this day and time, finally we're given a lot more recognition to those who deserve it, from Vietnam and from the Korean War.
Sure.
Those people, and I know, Dave, you were in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
You spent time, and to hear something like this, what's your reaction?
It's really good, and it seems like people have become more aware, on some. And I've known, veterans, World War II veterans, Korean, like your uncle,
yes.
they come back. They didn't talk about it, know. And you're just surprised that you see somebody that was awarded a Bronze Star or a Silver Star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And along with, 2 or 3 Purple Heart.
Right. Well, to sit around a campfire, Bill, I know I'd like just to be behind a tree or something to hear the stories that can be told. And
for sure.
To have a facility like this.
We did some Wounded Warrior hunts, in Arkansas at Pat's. And
yes.
It was so rewarding in the time with those guys. So I can imagine down at a ranch in South Texas,
Yeah.
How cool it would be.
How cool it would be. And I know, so Brittany, folks want to contribute or get more information about Trinity Oaks. Where do they go to?
TrinityOaks.org.
TrinityOaks.org, folks. That's what it is. And you can find out all of information. Do you all have a website?
Yes, TrinityOaks.org is the best place to go, and I encourage people to sign up their friends and family who are veterans or could be different participants in our programs. Again, It's all free of charge. We just need the application signed out, and they can do that all just from the website.
All right, great.
I've got to ask Brittany a question.
All right. In closing here.
In closing, ranches down Texas and out west
I've been to
and stuff, but there's always a history, interesting story on how the ranch got its name.
Thumbtack is
how did Thumbtack came about?
Well, it's a fabulous question. Lieutenant Paul Silber, who is a Purple Heart recipient himself, befriended Tom Snyder, our founder, and this was his ranch. And in the later part of his life, he wanted Trinity Oaks to purchase it from him and his family. And so that's the process that we've started to do. And he was probably maybe 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah.
So he was a short gentleman, and he always wore a big cowboy hat. And so someone once said to him, "Man, you look like a thumbtack walking around with that big cowboy." So
I can relate.
He named his ranch the Thumbtack Ranch. So it's actually called the Lieutenant Paul Silber Thumbtack Ranch.
Wow. Purple Heart Ranch, too. Thank you, Brittany, for being on with us, and we'll thank Karen Leto, too, for being y'all's representative. You have a great day, and we'll stay in touch, okay?
Thank you, and come on down and visit us for one of the hero celebrations.
Be down there tomorrow. Okay, I will. Thank you.
You start walking, you might make it.
That's all right, thank you, Brittany. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back, and we're going to talk a little West Tennessee deer hunting.